Well, hello there, trading family. In this episode, I want to do something a little bit different. You can see the Bitcoin chart up there, and basically, we've been moving sideways since the year began, actually, since November of last year, which has been anticipated. So, today, what I want to do is I want to open up the screeners tool on TradingView, and we're going to filter out for the highest cap, highest volume traded stocks and cryptos. We're going to pair that with my indicator to see if we can find some clues as to where this market is going to go and what it's going to do next, both in the stock category and in Bitcoin and altcoin crypto category. All right. Along with this, we're going to explore a few of the lessons I've learned since implementing my new indicator as of September of last year. All right. There's some things that I have done wrong, and I'm aiming to course correct to hopefully make us more profitable traders, especially when it comes to the crypto category, which is where I feel like I've failed you all a little bit. But I've learned some valuable lessons, and I think we can end this year on a much more profitable note. We're going to compare our stock tracker with our crypto tracker, and I'm going to tell you why the stock tracker has outperformed by far the crypto tracker. All right, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so here's the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to quickly recap what has happened over the last few months. If you'll remember, about 2 years ago, I predicted the year-end target for Bitcoin would be right around 88 to 92,000. All right, I was going off of this, and hopefully you guys can see that I'm using the new tool that TradingView has provided called the demonstration cursor, and it highlights the area that I'm discussing, and then that quickly disappears. All right, so my target was 88 to 92,000. We hit that and actually exceeded that and went all the way up to almost 92,000. I mean 109,000, excuse me, before price subsequently subsided. All right. So where did I get that target? Well, it was from a larger cup and handle pattern. Some people were spotting an inverse head and shoulders. I'm not going to zoom out and show you, but basically you can see here this pink ascending trend line I have labeled April 2021 high to November 2021 high. Those were the wick highs. I drew from that wick to the November 21 high, and then I just basically extended that out infinitely, and it brings us this important support line. Now support, or this important trend line, which continues on into infinity. All right, but we broke that in November. All right, so we exceeded my target of 88 to 92,000, broke that, went all the way up to 109,000. And I think it was my last video or a couple videos ago, I said I expect us to basically be range bound in this area between 92,000 and 108, 109,000 for the next few months. And that is exactly what has happened. All right, so we tested our support here once. Let's see, when was that? January? No, February. The beginning of February in 25, right here, where it says retest. Retested our 92,000 support, or basically that ascending pink trend line, and actually broke through it very quickly. Had me a little bit concerned that we might break through that and drop all the way back down to this next trend line at 76,000. But with Michael Saylor and other institutional investors accumulating, that kind of just kept that price up. So basically, we have been in an accumulation phase on Bitcoin. Now, I expect us to continue sideways for a few more weeks/months before we actually, you know, beat or break that 109,000. And in fact, it might be the case that we come, we continue to be range bound with Bitcoin until after May. All right, it could be May, June before we finally breach that 109,000 price. All right, I'm going to jump over to the SPY, and I'm just doing this as a precursor to what I'm about to speak on, and that is the stock screeners. We're jumping over to the SPY chart now, and you can see up here I've got an indicator, my indicator, which is giving me flashing a red dot, telling me that we could have a little bit of a pullback or maybe just sideways action here until we reach my trend line. Where's this trend line coming from? Let me zoom out quickly and I'll show you. All right, that comes all the way from back here on the start of our uptrend on this particular trend in October of 2023. All right, so that trend line I expect to continue to hold till we reach target number 3. You can see we have target number 1 here, target number 2. We're trying to push through. I think it's going to take 3-4 more weeks, maybe 3-4 more months. Let's see. Well, it won't take 3-4 more months, but it could be end of March before we finally hit our trend line here and push up even more. And my final target on this, of course, I've said all along, is 670 to 700. That is target number 3. I expect us to hit that maybe the end of 2025, maybe the beginning of 2026, before we finally break this trend line, and then down we go. Whoops, I moved the trend line rather than drawing an arrow. All right, so sometime end of 2025, maybe beginning of 2026. And who knows, I could be wrong about that too. It could continue to hold. But we have basically been in this secular bull market since 2009. And I'm showing you that on the weekly chart here. Actually, let me just zoom out to the monthly chart. All right. And so this is when our secular bull market began. And so for 15 going on 16 years now, we've been in this bull market. Again, guys, what's going to happen is when we finally break this trend line, this blow off top that I've been talking about seemingly ad nauseum, is we are going to start to come down. And I'm going to draw an info line here. And till we hit that target or that trend line again, we're at over 45%. It could be 40%. It could be depending on how far out into the future you want to go. I'm saying that it's going to drop fast somewhere around 2026. So we'll come down pretty fast. People are going to panic because this is about a 45 to 50% drop depending on how you draw that line. And people are going to start thinking that we're in a bear market again. But as long as we remain above this secular trend line, the secular bull market trend line, we are in a bull run. We're still in a bull market overall on the long-term scale. All right, so even with a 50% drop, and that's kind of scary to think about, and all the panic that's going to ensue, we're still going to be in a bull run. So I'm waiting for this drop. You know, I sell up here somewhere around 670 to 700. I sell all of my positions, kind of a Michael Burry type of move, except I'm not necessarily going to go short. I don't know. I don't always do the best on the shorts. I'll just wait, hold it out in cash, see what happens. And if we come all the way down here, somewhere down here, I'm going to start dollar cost averaging in again. All right, enough said about that. Let me zoom back out and get us focused in on the daily. And I'm going to show you what our stock screener is telling us about these markets. All right, and since I'm focused in on the SPY right now, let's just go ahead and begin with the stock screener. In case you guys aren't all familiar with, you've got this little, looks like a target, a bullseye target. I'm going to click that, and what I've done here is I've created a stock screener, and I'm going to go ahead and save these changes. Here's my stock screener, and the stock screener basically does this. It filters for all the highest market cap stocks. I'm going to tell you why I did that in just a bit, and we're going to go into a few of the mistakes I made because of not doing this. All right, so we're going to go 10 billion market cap and above. I've created another screener here. This is RSI below 40. I'm going to tell you why I did that in just a bit. And I want average volume on these stocks to be, for the last 10 days, to be about 5 million per day. All right. So what this does is the more market cap that we have on a stock and the more volume that is traded on any given stock, the higher the accuracy of my indicator. So let's talk about the indicator a bit. Over here on the chart, I'm going to circle the last time we were given the green signal on the SPY. All right, so if you can see that, I'm going to circle it a couple times because this demonstration marker is very light for this dark setting, this dark view on my chart. We've got a green dot here inside, and there is a small liquidity block. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. One thing about this demonstration marker is you've got to hold down hotkeys in order to get it to draw. And sometimes I forget to do that. But right here, we have a liquidity block, and my indicator has given us a signal to buy. All right, when that happens, from back testing, I know on these high cap, high volume traded stocks, we have about a 95% accuracy in terms of a swing trade. So I can I can confidently buy here knowing that my probability is extremely high that will go up. And in fact, if I would have bought here right on the trend line, we would have realized some serious gains to our top here where we get another indicator. Now, I'm ignoring these red dots simply because they're not inside of a sell side liquidity block. But up here, we've got a sell side liquidity block right inside of my target number 2. And I drew this target number 2 before we got this sell indicator. All right, so as soon as I saw that, I knew we were going to sell down. And in fact, we did, and we hit our trend line. Now, even though I don't have a green dot inside of this particular liquidity block, all right, see that? I still know that's a high confidence trade because we are on this uptrending support line. So again, I would have bought right here, and we would go up. All right, now that takes us to our current situation where I do have a sell side indicator. However, this is currently not inside of a liquidity block. So this is telling me, even though there is some pullback that could be expected, we're basically going to go downward-ish to sideways until probably we hit that trend line once again. I don't expect it to break, although I could be wrong about that. Maybe we break it early and we form a new sort of a trend line. But getting back to our stock screener. All right, so we have 26 of the highest cap, highest volume traded stocks in the market. And we're going to go through this, and we're going to pair this with my indicator to see if we can find some clues as to what the market is going to do. So far from our SPY, we have an indicator that we're going to move downwards a little bit, maybe to sideways. So let's look at the rest of these leaders. All right, we have block, big old sell-off. All right, and the last indicator we've got was a sell side indicator inside of a liquidity block, telling us that institutional money knew this was going to sell off. All right, this is institutional sellers here. That's what creates these liquidity blocks. All right. And we have one buy signal. It's pretty close to inside of a small liquidity block right here. So we did bounce a little bit and you could have bought there. But now the selling continues. This is not really a solid indicator. I like to see those big old buy side liquidity blocks, such as over here in May of 2024. All right. And then I like to see a green dot inside of there. So more selling ensues here, telling us that, these are our market leaders, guys. These big cap stocks that are selling, these are our leaders. So it's suppressing the market. Walmart here dropping, Coinbase continuing to drop. Again, the last legit indicator we got here was a sell side indicator. All right. We are inside of a liquidity block right now, a buy liquidity block, but so far, no green dot. All right. So I want to see that green dot as well, or something fairly close to that inside of this liquidity block. Then I know it's time to buy again. And this would correlate greatly with Bitcoin as well. So in fact, if I go down this list, the only legitimate buy signal I have is Astera Labs. All right. So out of these 26 stocks that were filtered out, I only have one buy signal. All right. So this is telling me that the market will continue to be suppressed for the next few weeks, maybe few months, before we start to see a spin up again, unless something very positive happens, maybe geopolitically. Who knows? Those kind of things can sometimes catch us off guard. Of course, when they're negative, we call them black swans. When they're positive, we're just all happy. But let's continue this talk, and we'll jump over to the crypto screener. I might as well just stay live while we're doing this so you can see how I do this. And again, I'm going to pull up, actually, let me jump to the Bitcoin chart first, just so we're on some sort of a crypto chart. I'm going to hit the little right to your right of me is a little target here. I'm going to click that. That pulls up our stock screener again. This time I'm going to hit this drop down and go to crypto coin screener, and immediately it brings up something that I've already saved, and this is the large cap crypto, large cap and large volume cryptos with that RSI below 40. All right. So these are market cap coins of 500 million and above. I have it to 100 trillion. Of course, there's no coin with that kind of market cap. So that includes everything thus far. And in this case, I have volume traded in 24 hours, 100 million or above. All right. With an RSI of below 40. We already looked at Bitcoin. In fact, it's right here. We're inside of a green liquidity block, but we don't have a green dot. So nothing really indicating that Bitcoin is going to move other than that green liquidity block, which could mean we move up. But again, I'm not really optimistic until we break that 109,000 barrier. So let's look at some of our larger cap altcoins. First of all, we'll start with Solana, ranked number 6 there. And you can see immediately we do have a green dot. However, it's not necessarily inside of a liquidity block. We have this liquidity block here. All right, whoops, again, I did the thing where not using still getting used to this demonstration cursor here. All right, so there's a liquidity block there, but it doesn't extend to where our green dot is. I'm not going to count that as a legitimate signal. Dogecoin, however, does have a green dot inside of that liquidity block, meaning we are both oversold and we have institutional buyers jumping in down here. Chainlink, same thing. Green dot oversold and inside of a liquidity block where there are institutional buyers, or whales as we call them in the crypto space. Avalanche, let's take a look at that. Same thing. All right, so if I go down the line here on these 26 cryptos, they're all relatively the same, indicating that for large cap altcoins, we could experience a bit of an upswing here, and we could see larger cap altcoins outperform Bitcoin. All right, so back to lessons learned, guys. One of the things that I have learned about trading crypto, and one of the things I've unfortunately failed at, is I have been trading using my indicator system to trade some of these smaller cap, smaller volume altcoins. That hasn't worked out very well for me, to say the least. All right. In fact, on the crypto portfolio, we're not even keeping up with the hodlers on Bitcoin. And the goal with the crypto portfolio is we're trying to outperform the Bitcoin hodlers. We haven't done that, and I own that because I've been trading altcoins that, yeah, during a bull phase they will outperform Bitcoin, but when we have these drawbacks here, altcoins just fold. I mean, paper hands are out faster than you can see lightning. It's really remarkable how quickly altcoins fold when Bitcoin is in a downturn. So I almost feel like I've done the wrong thing to my followers by trading some of these smaller cap altcoins. And I should have stuck with my original plan, which was essentially to trade the large cap, large volume altcoins, because this is where my signal, my indicator, is almost always correct. With a few exceptions, of course. There's always those few exceptions. We can never hit 100%, but we can get close. And when I have these green dots inside the green liquidity block, generally that almost always tells me, I mean, that's a high confidence trade. All right, so I'm going to begin to do that, especially for those of you who follow me on my trades. So next thing I want to talk about is I want to take a look at our stock portfolio. 1 second. Okay, our stock portfolio has done very well. I'm going to zoom in here. And actually, one of the things I have to do is move myself over so that you guys can see what's going on. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, so this is my stock tracker. All right, this is what you guys have been following me in trades on. These are all my closed trades. And there's a couple things I want you to focus in on. First of all, let's take a look here. Total number of trades. We've made 29 trades in and out. And average days in trade is 24. That actually is perfect. That's exactly what I want. 24 days. This gives me time to, first of all, find the trades, post those trades, and it gives you guys, my followers, time to get into these trades before we begin to take off and start making profit. The other thing I want you to notice here is we've got 23 total trades thus far. Actually, out of the exits, we have 23 wins and 6 losses. This right now is giving us, we're on course to 2.5x our portfolio this year just in stocks. That's a very good record. I mean, we're far, far outpacing the SPY. That was my goal. And maybe I've set the bar a little bit too low on that one. I'm not sure. One of the things that really killed us here is we had a large gap down on what is this, IIPR. Didn't expect that, so it went, exceeded my stop limit, and we had a 29% loss on that particular stock, unfortunately. And that, so that brought our average profit down a little bit there. But overall, we're doing very well. Now, one of the reasons why we are doing well is because on the stock side, I am trading mostly higher cap and higher volume stocks. And so when it comes to my indicator is going to be much more accurate as this, these are all my closed trades. And so as this chart shows, we have many more wins than we have losses here. Some of the losses that we did have were big, so it kind of killed, my bragging rights here a little bit. But what I instantly saw in comparing this stock tracker, which is currently outperforming our crypto tracker, is that it was these large cap, large volume stocks that enabled me to become so accurate on this side of the portfolio. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to discuss in this episode. But basically, this, guys, in summary, when we look at the stock market, we are in a little bit of a pullback here, maybe sideways action for the next couple months. Bitcoin could be a little bit positive. It could just be, I think it's going to continue to be range bound, quite honestly, between 92K and 109K for a similar amount of time, for 4 weeks to several months. And altcoins, though, are looking fairly positive. It's looking like altcoins will outperform Bitcoin in this case. Hopefully, I can provide a little bit of a catch-up value there on my crypto portfolio, which has performed poorly. I mean, in my opinion, since we implemented this new indicator. It hasn't helped that some of the meme coins have drawn back as much as 90%, and we were in some of those trades. All right, that has been my downfall thus far in leading these trades. All right, so again, course correction. We're going to start trading these higher cap, higher volume altcoins, and hopefully do much better. And the goal is to eventually outperform the hodlers of Bitcoin. If we can't do that, then that's at that point I become one of these Bitcoin evangelists, I guess. I'm not sure. I've traded Bitcoin a little bit. Some of you have listened to my videos enough to know why I'm not necessarily a fan of Bitcoin. But we're going to do our best to outperform Bitcoin by changing this strategy a bit. All right, so hopefully this video has helped you see what we're looking at in terms of markets for the next few weeks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace until the next one.